Hi, I'm Dr. Kit Weathers, and once again, it's time for the root tip of the week. So let's get started. Today we're going to talk about dental x-rays and some of the other associated products that go with dental x-rays. But before I get started, I want to clear up a couple of points that I mentioned last week in our root tip of the week. As you probably remember if you saw it, I took my tie off and I said, no more ties from now on. We're going to be more relaxed. Well, the problem was a lot of times I have to wear a tie at the Las Vegas Institute where I work here, and that was one of those days, so I had to put the tie back on. So new rule, whatever the heck I'm wearing that particular day is what I'm going to wear for the root tip. Today is a tie day. It happens to be some seminars that we're going to be teaching, so we have a tie. But if it's casual Friday or casual Wednesday or whatever, and I don't have a tie on, that's what I'll do. Anyway, that's going to be the deal. We're not going to wear a tie. If we're going to wear whatever we do coming in. Anyway, so today we're going to get started with some things about dental x-rays. And one of the first things I want to discuss with you is the x-ray grid. Now this is a picture of the x-ray grid down here. And as a matter of fact, this was a request from somebody. And that's another thing I would like to point out. If you have any problems or any questions you would like to ask, send me an email at my email address, and it's going to be right over here. The email address is kit.weathers@gmail.com, and I'll be glad to answer your question. And if it's a good question, I'll go ahead and put it on the root tip of the week. So this was a question from one of our doctors, and he wanted to know if there was an x-ray grid or something we could tape on an x-ray film, and where can we get it. So that's why we're going to talk first about the x-ray grid, and then we'll talk about some other subjects. This particular grid is from Medidenta Corporation, and it consists of fine copper wire 1 millimeter apart. So you can tape that onto your sensor, and that will show these fine lines at 1 millimeter increments. And the good news is, even if you have elongation or foreshortening of the x-ray, the grid will be rotated in the same particular frame as the sensor. Therefore, it compensates pretty close to exactly what you're doing. So you can count the little grid crossings there and find out exactly how many millimeters you are short on the x-ray. That grid will run you about $29.95, I believe, from Medidenta, and here's their phone number and information on the screen. So the next thing we're going to talk about is apex locators versus x-rays. I'd like to spend just a few minutes with you and talk about obtaining the working length. I know we've mentioned this in the past before, but I think it's worth bringing up again because so many people are a little confused about this. But wait, before we talk more about working length, let's take a little break for the magic trick of the week. We're going to take a piece of paper and a coin, and what we're going to do is fold the coin inside this piece of paper. And we're going to fold the sides in, and you can see the coin is right here. We're going to fold the sides in on the coin like this, and like this, and at the top. So now the coin is trapped inside this little packet. As a matter of fact, you can have people reach up and grab the coin, test it, feel it, make sure it's still there, and then what you're going to do is take your other hand, go into your pocket, and get your magic wand. The magic wand taps the coin 1, 2, 3 times, and at this point the coin disappears and it's no longer inside the paper. All gone. And that's the mystery of the magic vanishing coin. To learn the secret to this and other magic tricks in this series, go to endorootcamp.com. And we talked about apex locators last time and how you should subtract a millimeter from the measurement that you get with your file. And let me show you a graphic right now and explain why we subtract exactly 1 millimeter. So when you're trying to establish working length, you must remember that many times the apical opening on the root is way short of the anatomical apex. So I think most of you would agree that you don't want to make that your working length, although in dental school that's what we were taught to do because we didn't have electronic apex locators at the time. When your digital apex locator reads apex, it means that the tip of the file has protruded slightly beyond into the periodontal ligament. Therefore, my suggestion is you measure to that point and then subtract 1 millimeter, and that will give you the perfect working length, slightly short, the narrowest part of the canal, and the best advice I can give you is to trust your apex locator. When it tells you you're at the apex, that means the tip is a millimeter beyond or slightly beyond, and you want to subtract a millimeter, and that's going to be your perfect measurement. I use the apex locator from Miltex. I have a Mark 6 and a Mark 7. Both of them operate the same, and as you push the file down in the canal, when it finally gets to the apex, a light comes on. You can sometimes, depending on the model that you have, get a beeping sound, but that means you are still just slightly beyond. So write that measurement down, then subtract 1 millimeter from that point. And here's a picture of the Mark 7 apex locator. This is just the next generation, and it's got a few features that I like better. One of my favorite features of the Mark 7 is it uses standard AA batteries. They can be rechargeable if you like, but if the battery goes dead in the middle of a procedure, you can just drop 2 more batteries in real quick, and in seconds you're back in business. It's also about half the price of most of the larger units that are on the market, and the Mark 7 apex locator is available from endosolutions.net. Okay, I hope our tips today have given you a little better insight into how to use your apex locator and maybe which one you want to pick. Well, that's it for another Root Tip of the Week. I'm Dr. Kit Weathers, and I will see you at the apex. So long for now.